very good afternoon and welcome to Africa Today. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, Buhari launches 62 billion naira HIV trust fund. Fracas in Senegal parliament over insult to religious leader. As a ruling party to decide Ramaphosa's fate over scandal. And on sport, asked about 2022 to produce athletes for 2024 Olympic. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday in Abuja launched a 62 billion naira trust fund to help Nigeria end AIDS as a public health threat, place more people living with HIV treatment annually. Speaking at the launch of the HIV Trust Fund of Nigeria, the president pledged that his administration would continue to prioritize health interventions to address killer diseases and public health emergencies. Ending AIDS as a public health threat in Nigeria will require increased domestic funding, and the president noted that Nigeria's purposeful partnership with private sector in the response to COVID-19 pandemic had provided a heavily and readily available financing solution to leverage to sustain the HIV response. He commended the National Agency for Control of AIDS, that is NACA, and the Nigeria Business Coalition Against AIDS for their efforts in establishing the HIV Trust Fund of Nigeria to secure a generation of babies free of HIV. He also expressed delight with the attendance in person of notable global key players in HIV response and from the private sector at the event and the pledges they made. Nigerian students have witnessed continuous strike action in recent times. Hills TV Abuja made a report on the situation. Now let's have it.
ASUU strike, a familiar term among Nigerian undergraduates, used to refer to the striking actions of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is ASUU, and the federal government of Nigeria, have become a household term due to the yearly disagreements between education authorities and government, leaving students at the receiving end. The most recent strike in the country, which started on February 14, 2022, kept students out of schools for 8 months, in which a court forced lecturers back to schools. Still, there is doubt as the federal government paid lecturers half salaries, which made the scholars call for another strike action. Former ASUU chairman Uni Ilorin, Rashid Adeoye, lamented the plight of Nigerian lecturers.
Tell Mr. President to pay us. Tell us that we are not casuals, and that we are intellectuals, and that we train people, and that we are teachers, and that we can move mountains. We are tired of strike. They should not allow us to go back to strike again. And the only way we won't go back is for federal government of Nigeria to pay us.
Hills TV visited the University of Abuja and spoke to students on the effects of ASUU strike on the future of Nigerian students.
It became very dull. I was not as smart as before. And other people, it affected them like financially, people that are staying off campus.
High rates of internet fraud. Secondly, prostitution. The vibe I had in my academics last semester wasn't the same with this one, but there's no way I can't complain. I just have to meet up with it.
Like some of us now, we're not getting younger. You get so by the time we finish school, like a course that you're supposed to study for, like my course is 5 years, right? But now I spent roughly 6 years plus already, and then tomorrow when I graduated tomorrow now, when I apply for a job, they'll be like, okay, they need experience, and then by then, let's say for instance, I'll be 30 something, which is very unusual.
We are going to have half-baked graduates because 8 months is pretty long.
Some students also offered possible solutions to the disagreement.
Government should find a way that the children of all these our government leaders, the public officers, if they are members of the university system, the chances of strike will be less.
However, latest reports showed that November salaries were paid to the aggrieved lecturers in full to prevent another strike action. Ainan Lubem, Hills TV.
Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has secured 3,440 convictions on financial and cyber crimes across the country from January to November 2022. The chairman of EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa, disclosed this while delivering a goodwill message on the opening of the workshop on financial crimes reporting organized by the Commission. Bawa, who was represented by the Kano Zonal Commander, Farouk Dongundaji, said that the Commission will work to ensure the enforcement of the Electoral Act in the 2023 general elections. Bawa said that the Commission would work to ensure that this was done. The chairman described journalists as critical allies who were at the workshop to improve their capacity to be able to help the fight against cyber and financial crimes in the country. In a related development, the Deputy Director, Legal and Prosecution, Aisha Taha Abib, while presenting her paper, gave the breakdown of both civil and criminal convictions made by the zones. She stated that Kano Zone recorded 16 criminal convictions, losing only 2, and 180 civil convictions, losing only 1. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa, just stay with us. Welcome back. Lawmakers has exchanged blows and hurled a chair in Senegal's parliament on Thursday after a perceived insult towards an influential pro-opposition religious leader. An opposition MP slapped legislator Ami Diaye over her remarks, according to images on television and social media that have since been authenticated. She responded by throwing a chair at him and then fell to the ground, where she was held by fellow members of her group. A fist fight then erupted among MPs before the speaker suspended the session. The bust-up erupted during a vote on Justice Ministry's budget for 2023. It was sparked by remarks Diaye made about Seringne Mustafa Sai, a Muslim leader who supports the opposition but not a lawmaker. On November 26, she accused him of betraying his words and disrespecting Senegal's president, Macky Sall, according to media reports. That was really an eyesore. Burkina Faso's interim leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has announced that he was the target of a coup attempt last week. In a meeting with civil society organizations on Thursday, Captain Traoré confirmed the coup attempt and said that he knew who was behind it, but was not going to make any arrest as he prefers dialogue and the situation is under control. Captain Traoré took power in Burkina Faso on September 30 through a coup by ousting his predecessor, Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Damiba, who himself had seized power through a coup. We move to other parts of Africa after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. The president's future has been in doubt since a report by a panel of experts was made public on Wednesday as senior officials in South Africa's ruling African National Congress, that is the ANC, gathered on Friday to decide whether the country's president, Cyril Ramaphosa, should stay on after an inquiry found evidence of misconduct over cash hidden at his farm. The inquiry was investigating the alleged theft of millions of dollars of cash stuffed into furniture in the millionaire's president's game farm in 2020. The theft, which only came to light in June, has raised awkward questions about how Ramaphosa acquired the money while he wasn't keeping it in a bank, and whether or not it had been declared to authorities. Uncomfortable for a leader who came to power in 2017 on a promise to fight endemic graft. Ramaphosa has denied any wrongdoing and has not been charged with any crime. Meanwhile, the president has said the money was much less than $4 million to $8 million reported, and that it was the proceeds of game sales at his farm. Somali's forces killed after 40 Al-Shabaab fighters in the Middle Shabelle region, according to the government on Thursday, says that in the latest clashes in months-long offensive that aims to weaken the grip of the Islamic militant group. Al-Shabaab, an Al-Qaeda franchise that is seeking to impose its interpretation of Islamic law across the country, frequently staged deadly attacks in capital Mogadishu and elsewhere. Al-Shabaab restrictions on deliveries of international aid have compounded the impact of the worst drought in 4 decades, according to officials who say living Somalia is on the brink of famine. Up next is business news after this time. Do stay with us. Welcome to Business News. The total debt of 10 oil-producing states rose to 2.04 trillion naira in December 2015 to 3.35 trillion naira as of June 2022, according to Sub-National Debt Report of the Debt Management Office. This means that a total of 1.31 trillion naira was borrowed within a period of about 7 years by the states, which includes Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Edo, Abia, Ondo, Imo, Cross River, Bayelsa, and Lagos. This report was according to a report which showed that the oil-producing states received the sum of 6.4 trillion naira in federal allocation and 13% derivation fund. The federal government disbursed a total of 1.98 trillion naira as a share of 13% derivation fund to oil-producing states. Away from that story, we move to another story where Africa's transition to cleaner fuels and power generation presents investors with opportunities across the value chain, but more direct financing is needed on projects. This was according to the head of a Southern independent power producer on Thursday, Brian Dames, who said the shift to cleaner energy in South Africa, for example, meant a massive addition of new generation capacity with strong growth potential. Africa's most industrialized nation is going through record power outage this year and is unstable coal-fired power station, which accounts for more than 70% of generation capacity of around 58,000 megawatts, struggling to meet demands. Still to come, sports news. Do stay with us.
Beautiful afternoon to you and welcome to Sports News in Africa Today. I am Daniel Obasi. And starting off with the action down there in Delta State, Asaba, where the Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, has said that some of the athletes that will represent Nigeria at the 2024 Olympic in Paris will be discovered at the ongoing National Sport Festival in Asaba. This is contained in a press statement signed by Mohammed Manga, the Director of Media and Public Relations, which reads, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, said that this focus would be to the next 12 days for looking for talent to display into the national teams for the next Olympics scheduled for France come 2024. Dare stated further that to ensure junior category participation in sport, the National Youth Games, that is the NYC Platform and Principals Cup, would also be given the deserved attention. Meanwhile, Team Delta have added 2 more gold medals to increase their tally to 3 gold medals so far. And away from that, now to cricket, where Nigerians continue to edge in Rwanda on Thursday, and it was a good outing for Nigerians yellow-green following the fixture of the competition was released on Wednesday after the technical meetings, and Nigeria was pitched against the highly rated Mozambique side. The game played at Ganana Cricket Oval in Kiga witnessed some fierce contests between both teams, but it was the Yellow Greens of Nigeria that eventually carried the day. Yellow Greens were up with 3 wickets after 28-7 and then went on to eventually win on the scoreline. The Nigerian side would face Sierra Leone in their second game on Friday at the same venue. And still talking sports matters, in preparation for the upcoming 2022-2023 Nigerian National League season, Van Dresser has announced the appointment of a new manager that will take charge of the team. The club on Thursday afternoon announced Ivorian national Namibia Adama Mohamedi as the new coach of the team. Mohamed holds a UEFA license from Danks and in Denmark, and is also expected to bring back his wealth of experience to the team. He signed a season contract with the Nigerian second-tier team and hoping that he would take them to the next level. And that's your sports news in Africa Today. Back to Peace Ogenegbawe for the rest of the news. I am Daniel Obasi.
Welcome back. Ogun State Police Command has arrested 2 brothers who reportedly stole a car in Lagos. The suspects were arrested by officers on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway while trying to escape with a stolen car to Imo State. The police public relations officer in the state, SP Abimbola Oyeyemi, disclosed this in a statement while explaining that the suspects, who worked at a car wash, stole the car from the customer who took his car to them for his service. The PPRO, however, said the Commissioner of Police, CP Lanre Bankole, had directed that the 2 suspects be transferred to Lagos State Criminal Investigation Department for unknown transfer to Lagos State Command, where the crime was originally committed. And that's Africa Today. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that Nigeria's president has launched a 62 billion naira HIV trust fund. There's been fracas in Senegal's parliament over an insult to religious leader. Meanwhile, in South Africa, the ruling party is about to decide Ramaphosa's fate over a scandal. And on sport, Asaba 2022 is to produce athletes for 2024 Olympics. Remember to visit us on Facebook and Instagram at Hills TV and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Thank you for watching.